So I was a little bit sick. Okay, I was like... But that didn't stop the world of Android news from just trucking along, and this past week has been a Google-licious week. No more rumors, no more leaks. Let's start with the Nexus 5X. The Nexus 5 features a 5.2-inch Full HD LCD display with Gorilla Glass 3. Google's decision to forego a Quad HD panel shouldn't come as a surprise, as this move was likely made to keep the cost down. The 1080p panel will also be much less power hungry than the higher resolution displays, helping the 2700 mAh battery last a bit longer. In hopes that all of the new battery-saving features in the Android 6.0 Marshmallow will make up for it. Under the hood, the 5X totes a 2 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 808 processor, backed by 2 GB of RAM. This device comes with either 16 or 32 GB of onboard storage. Now, if you need more than that, you'll have to rely on the cloud, as the 5X does not come with a microSD card slot for expandable storage. If you're willing to skip the 5X and would like a Nexus with a bit more onboard storage, the newly announced Nexus 6P comes with 32, 64, or 128 GB flavors. There's also a 12.3 megapixel rear-facing camera with an f-stop of 2.0 aperture on board, as well as a 5 megapixel front-facing camera. Both the Nexus 5 and the Nexus 6 feature optical image stabilization, but unfortunately, the Nexus 5X does not. We're not entirely sure why Google chose to leave this helpful feature out of the camera. Nexus phones have always struggled in the camera department, and we're really hoping that the Nexus 5X won't suffer from the same fate. And in true Nexus tradition, the 5X will be relatively affordable, starting at $379 and will ship out in October. Now let's talk its bigger brother, the Nexus 6P. Briefly, the specs include a 5.7-inch AMOLED QHD display with 518 pixels per inch. It sports a Qualcomm Snapdragon 810 processor, but it is the second version, so that should not overheat. It has an Adreno 430 GPU, 3 GB of RAM, and the storage options come in at 32, 64, or 128 GB. It does not have a microSD card slot. It runs Android Marshmallow, has a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner, and has a 12.3 megapixel rear cam and an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. It has a 3,450 mAh non-removable battery. Unlike in past years, Google doesn't plan to offer its phones directly via carriers in the US, in a model similar to what we are seeing from Motorola with the Moto X Pure Edition. In fact, while select international retailers will still offer the Nexus family, in the US, the Nexus phones will be available only through the Google Play Store. The Nexus P is obviously a bit more expensive than the 5X, thanks to its beefier specs and the more premium design, with a starting price of $500 for the 32 GB variant. The 64 GB model is $549, and the 128 GB model is just $649. Those who buy either model will also get 90 days of free Google Play Music, and those who pre-order will get a $50 Google Play gift card as an added perk. Now let's talk the Pixel C. The Pixel series, for those who follow Chromebooks, has been previously used only for the most premium offerings, and manufactured and sold directly through Google itself. The Pixel C follows in the tradition of being a high-spec, high-performance, high-priced device, though in this case, it's running Android 6.0 Marshmallow as opposed to Chrome OS. The Pixel C features a 2560 by 1800 10.2-inch screen with 308 pixels per inch. It has an NVIDIA X1 system on a chip with Maxwell GPU, 3 GB of RAM, and either 32 or 64 GB of onboard storage. It will make use of USB Type-C, is made of aluminum, and as mentioned earlier, will ship with Android 6.0 Marshmallow. As per the Pixel laptop series, the device also includes an LED strip that can be double tapped to indicate battery life. One accessory has been announced thus far, an aluminum keyboard which can attach to the tablet in a Microsoft Surface Apple iPad Pro type fashion via magnets and connects to the system via Bluetooth. Google has indicated the accessory is the same size as a standard keyboard due to some strategic rearrangement of keys and a use of the tablet's touchscreen. It should make for a very comfortable user experience. The device will retail for $499 at 32 GB or $599 for 64 GB and will be available for purchase by the end of the year. The keyboard will retail separately for $149. And finally, let's talk about the Blackberry Priv. Blackberry Priv, formerly known by its internal codename Venice, is BlackBerry's first foray into Android, which the Canadian company has tried and ultimately failed to fight off with its own operating system, BlackBerry 10. Priv combines the best of BlackBerry's security and productivity with the expansive mobile application ecosystem available on the Android platform, said BlackBerry CEO John Chen. The device promises, quote, best-in-class security for enterprise customers as part of the company's heritage and core mission of protecting customers' privacy. The Priv will become available late this year in major markets in store and online. The slide-out keyboard and the focus on privacy and security aren't just new features. They're major differentiators from BlackBerry's competition. So if you have that, you'd think you would want a really awesome demo. Not this.
It runs Google, right? And then
there we go.
Well, then I have to set it up. This is a demo unit. So it runs Google, and I'll go back to my main screen and see whether I could get anything. Well, I was exploring.
Have you seen Apple and Google do product launches? It is a performance. Every segment is properly planned and rehearsed to clearly communicate the benefits of those new features. They make a major media splash doing so. And what did you do? You didn't even prep your device. You had the opportunity to make a huge industry media splash, and instead, you made a burp. You think I'm being harsh? I'm not being harsh. BlackBerry needs a new CEO. That was an unforgivable lapse of judgment, a missed opportunity for a company in its last dying breaths. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll be reading them. You also don't want to forget about my brothers and sister in Android, who are working super hard to be your source for all things Android.